it feels as though, okay, fuck, I should feel ashamed about this. There is something wrong. It's already sort of, there's underlying implication by asking, why can't you do this?
You are a character, right? You run around the house dancing like crazy. Some people saw it, they'd be like, oh my god, this is such a crazy bitch. And you genuinely have fun, and it really does the energy and all that kind of stuff. Where it falls over is when you try to get me involved. And I really, really don't feel comfortable.
Give me the real example. Like, what actually happened?
So you were trying to do a friggin' TikTok thing.
Not to film.
No, but still, you're still trying to do something
But
really
it's like,
lame on TikTok.
it's like, Baba, this, like, I saw this on TikTok. It's a trend, apparently.
As soon as I saw it, I'm like, fuck no, because I knew exactly what was in your head. And you're trying to get me to do it, right? And initially, it was fine, it was a joke, and then because it kept going on, I started the lockdown, right? Because I felt very uncomfortable. I started to feel pressured. And in the past, right, I always felt bad for how the other person feels because I never wanted to do it, right? Like,
You mean for having your ground?
Yeah, for having my grounds and going, nah. It's like people are like, why can't you do it? It's just a bit of fun, just let you loose. And that's what sort of stuck in my head. It's like, why can't I let that go? It's been a story of my life. Like, every time I do something in front of people, I'm never stepping out of line. Like, I always anticipate everything, and then when I do, I get embarrassed about it, and I think about it. Like, I probably can remember things like 6 years ago that I embarrassed myself with, right? Stressing out, and people go, oh, you did a good job, but it never fucking sinks in. I can tell that I'm getting more relaxed because I'm around the house and doing some stupid shit. But that scenario has always been a big thing for me because, like, previous relationships, friends, it's like, oh, you're fucking boring, or
it would be in everywhere. Like, even if it was just like a social setting from workplace or whatever, I can see how that could really just happen in any situation.
I understand two sides of the story, right? So one is, I need my boundaries. If I don't want to fucking do something, I don't want to do something, but I haven't really felt comfortable with saying that. Like, you're the first one. Like, even last night you approached it and like, oh, I can see how it was pressuring you, and I've never had that before, so that was like, oh wow. So that actually sort of opened me up a little. But I always felt bad for that situation because the other person misses out on fun, they get all upset and sad, and I'm like, fuck, but I was the one stressing out. My heart was fucking jumping out of my chest. Like, but then on the other side, it's like, why can't I do that? Like, not that I'm gonna just go out and start something, do something crazy, but
I think it's simple. I don't think we realize the impact that could have by asking like that, because it's like, oh, why can't you? It's just having fun. But why can't you do it? The answer is because it's just not me. You like to have fun that way. It's not that I'm not having fun. I'm just not that person. That's as simple as that, right? But because of the way the question is being asked, it feels as though, okay, fuck, I should feel ashamed about this. There is something wrong. It's already sort of, there's underlying implication by asking, why can't you do this, right? It's like, oh, why aren't you normal like everybody else? Meaning you should be doing this.
That's a massive pressure on society too, right? Because that's the easiest way is to guilt someone into something or manipulate the situation. It's like, no, they're an individual. They act their way. Like, that's the best thing about different people and looking at different avenues. Like, I love that at work. Even growing up, like, we won't talk about the specific moments, but there's points in my childhood where that was used as a weapon, right? I did all this for you. Like, why can't you do this? Or why won't you let me do this? It's like a tricky situation because I can see both sides. Like, I definitely love having fun. We have fun. I muck around. It's always laughter, right? I don't think I've had as much laughter in a relationship before, right? Like, I love getting you to laugh or get that bite. Oh, that bite when she bites. Wow. So
I don't bite. What do you mean?
Oh, it's so good.
There's nothing that could agitate me.
So good. On top of it. It's like, oh, she bites and I get those side eyes. It's like, fuck yeah. But yeah, it's just very profound because it sinks in. And I had that fun moment we're having that fun moment, and all through all
I'm
of
like, Papa, do it. And you're like, no.
And it was a fun part, and then all of a sudden it was like, alright, I've hit that limit. I'm not fucking doing this, and I don't like letting you down. Fuck.
You're like, oh, I feel pressure. I feel it's a peer pressure. You're peer pressuring me.
But the way that you dealt with it was very different. Like, you actually came up and said, yeah, I can see it that way. Like, there was a bit of silence. We were trying to work each other out.
I was stunned by it, yeah.
Yeah, because you weren't ready for it. But I even talk about it now, I feel my chest getting tight, right? Like, I guess it goes down to the core thing of me neglecting how I feel. Not like to this point, but like neglecting how I feel to sacrifice for others and the pressure that builds, right? Because like, I can feel it in my chest, right? I'm like, fuck. No, right? But never having the confidence, I guess the confidence is involved in it too, to actually say, no, I'm not going to do this because of that response. So the way that you handled it, like I've had the night time to process over it, it was like, yeah, I'm right in saying that, fuck, I don't want to do this. I just have that fear in the back of my head. It's like, oh, what if she starts to think I'm not fun? What if she doesn't want to do anything with me anymore? Because I don't want to lose that either, right? Like, we have a lot of fun
I'm still gonna fuck with you. There's no way.
I know, but like, you know, the thoughts that run through
I
your
know,
head,
I know.
and the fact that you came after and you actually had a chat about it, it started sinking in, like you coming in after and starting to acknowledge and we both learning together and
But
flowing.
have I not always come to you whenever I realize something and I come to you and apologize?
Yeah, but
and
like I'm
stuff?
talking about my acknowledgement, right? Like after we had that big conversation in December, it sort of opened up my eyes, and then you know you've grown with me and I've grown with you, and then the way you approach things with me is different, and like the good things I do now you acknowledge a lot more too, like because that was part of the issue. So now when you actually come to me after this point, it was like, oh my god, this is something different, and then that tension went because it was like, fuck, I am right. Like like you said, I don't need to feel bad. It was like actually realizing that was the case, right? Because yeah, the understanding of like I have the right to feel the way that I do, and even you saying you have the right to feel that way and feel what you feel is very profound, right? Because before it was like, who cares what I'm feeling?
I have things that I've done out of pressure because it felt like I was wrong to feel the way I was feeling
and how do you
uncomfortable.
feel about it after?
It's horrible.
It is.
After doing it, it's horrible. And that's what goes a long way. Like, of the fact that I budged to do something that I'm not comfortable with. So, yeah, when you said that, like I said, I was quiet, and I said, I'm quiet because I am stunned. But it's okay. That doesn't mean anything about the fact that you felt uncomfortable.
Which
know?
is very good, because like when you go silent, I think the worst. I'm like, oh fuck, I've done it, I fucked up again. Right? But like when you actually came to me and said, I'm silent because I'm stunned in that way, but I was just processing. It was like, oh my god, okay, cool. Wow, that actually. I could have enjoyed it at the end, right? Like if I forced myself through it, but like you said, like how many times in life have you been forced through things and like fucking regretted it straight after, right? Like, don't get me wrong. I know I need to loosen up. I know I'm this tense, anxious bundle of stress sometimes and friction. We're having fun, and then I think I was the one that let myself snap because, you know, like you were mucking around and you still pressure me. You've done that in the past, and I'm like, no, and then I like pretend.
You never do it.
Yeah, I fall asleep on you, and you're like, fuck you.
That.
You know, like we've done that kind of thing where you try to pressure me to say you're sorry or something. I'm like, no. Like in previous.
For shits and giggles,
right.
Say sorry, say you're wrong.
The full amount of time is fine, and you never get it from me. That's boom.
That's the thing, like in the past, like that's more of the joke, right? I'm not gonna do it, whatever. But eventually they all give in. You fucking never. That's exactly what I was expecting last night too.
And I think, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. The difference with this one was my association to it with your fun, if that makes sense. Right? Because we were having fun, and that's the usual play too, and you were enjoying it and having fun, but my brain went, she's not going to be happy unless I do this in this scenario, right? Where previous it's like, I'm just going to shit stir you, just watch you stir and get that bite, not going to fucking give it to you. But in this situation it was, this has happened previously, I'm not the fun guy, this is fun, she's happy about it, I can see I'm loving her, seeing her happy, doing all this, but then the end result, if she doesn't get it, where's it gonna go, right? Like, because I don't want to fucking do this.
That it's fun fucking around.
Yeah, I know, but that's where my head went, and I think that's where you got shocked by it too, because I went, can't do it.
Yeah, you were out straight with it. Like I said, when we were in bed, it's still really good to acknowledge the fact that it's a positive thing. I can see the trusts building from you in this relationship where you start to feel more comfortable to express it.
Yeah, I never would have expressed that previously. I would have just gone quiet, and then tension would have come, and you would have been sitting there going, what happened? Why is this happening? And then, you know, confronting me and lockdown.
I can quite easily see the way that you would have processed things because, and also how you said you're working on confidence. I think you think that you gotta work on it, but I think you're doing it already. If you think about it, like so many times that you were put in situations growing up where you weren't comfortable with things, but you did it because of the manipulation, because you were felt guilty for not wanting to do it. So you did a lot of things that you regret, you wish you could go back and not do, and just stuck to your ground, right? And I think a lot of those times adding up, the fact that you're feeling uncomfortable about this, people didn't give a shit about it and still wanted you to do things that they wanted you to do for their convenience, right? And I think a lot of times of that accumulating to this point, you would naturally feel like there's no space for you to share
No, like I felt like it was just like, oh, here we go, I'm gonna fuck up again.
And I think I can kind of see how that could really fuck with somebody's self-worth too. Like when I say no, it's like no one wants to be around. Everyone is making me to compromise to what they want. So if I'm not here to people please, they have no interest in me. I think it's very natural way of fucking being perceived that way, right? If that was accumulated all throughout growing up.
Yeah, and I'm like at the point of my life where I'm over fucking being manipulated. Like I'm smart enough to see it now. Like I don't buckle on many things these days. Really, honestly, I've had enough in my life, and I just it was just more that, you know, the fun side of it. And
Very sweaty.
yeah, it's definitely hitting close to home. Like I can feel myself playing with my hands. I can feel my chest is tight, because you want to make your loved ones feel happy. You want to fit in. You want to, like, it's just all that subconscious stuff, right? And
It doesn't make me unhappy. You not dancing when I was fucking around does not make me.
Dancing. It wasn't fucking dancing. It was just a weird ass random fucking gyration.
It
of
was
the hips.
no. I thought that trend thing is so ridiculous, so
It is fucking
hideous.
stupid,
That's
yeah.
why I wanted to look in the mirror of us doing it.
I didn't wanna
'cause it's
fucking
so
see it.
hideous.
I saw it on the screen. I'm like, I don't want to fucking do this.
But that's why I was like, I'm not recording. I just want to look at us. Anyway, I already know that I had not that this matters. I had no expectation that you would do it with me. You're not that person. You've consistently not have been that person. The big
My
difference.
track record did put the expectation.
The big difference yesterday was the fact that you expressed it. You just, went, nah, you're peer pushing me, right? But until you did that, I didn't see the consequence of that either from your perspective. So because you did that, it gives me an opportunity to actually look at it from your point, which will help me next time that I won't be just doing it. You know what I mean? Because I'm aware of it.
It felt so dirty coming out though. Like when I expressed it, I couldn't even look at you. I was just looking up at the roof, and I was just rubbing. I already started rubbing and touching and shit, and I couldn't look at you because I was already anticipating the reaction in my head. I just can't do it. It's not me. Right. And I came across straight, and I couldn't even look at you still since that. Right.
Because you didn't know how to handle that emotion of that shame of disappointing the other person by you not wanting to do something.
And then, like, there was a little bit of silence because that's when it shocked you, right? But like, it feels so hard, and I was ready for fucking tension, right? I was ready for where it used to go. Actually, it didn't used to go because I fucking used to conform, right? It was this whole new ground, but it felt so dirty. So like when you came to me after, that's why I say like it actually changes that mindset a bit. Still doesn't change the tension. Like it's still, I can feel it like when I'm talking. I feel like I'm running out of air. It's just profound how difficult it was to actually express, which most people take. Well, not most people. Like I'm not just trying to say most and everyone, but I feel people that aren't very confident. Like people take it for granted, right? Like people can used to expressing this, like, oh fuck, that's every day, right? It's such a freedom, right? Like even just feeling that coming out, like I was so like walking on thin ice. Like that's what it felt like. Didn't feel like a release until after we spoke about it, right?
But did you feel better afterwards though?
Yeah, I still was tense about the whole situation, but like it did give me time to think about it and sort of reflect. And the fact that I've still got it in my chest tells me that I haven't fully understood it.
No, I think it's because you're finally letting it sink in. It's starting to make sense, which is why you're actually feeling the pain.
It's my subconscious is fucking fighting it, like, and my body's fighting it.
Oh, but that's how boundaries work.
Yeah.
When you're first setting boundaries, when you're standing your ground, it's really confronting because of the guilt, because of the conditioned way of you feeling so much guilt of having your ground. So I know exactly how that feels. This is really how setting boundaries looks like.
I've got a lot of boundaries, but I guess I haven't associated any personal boundary. It's hard to say because, like, the biggest thing I have challenges with myself is I'm really confident and strong in some things. Like, if you come to me about work,
it's like that though. You could be the most people-pleasing person, and you will still have something that you're not gonna budge on. We all have boundaries, but I think it's more that the more you become aware of things that you want aware of, you just start to build more boundaries, the more you become conscious. Because you've always been the person to have boundaries on things that you're aware of. These emotional things are just something that you weren't aware of.
Where is my no, and where is it healthy to say no? Because that is a very foggy area for me, where that line is. I don't want to miss out on good opportunities, but also I don't want to sacrifice me. to bring that tension, because that tension doesn't feel good. That tension last night wasn't good. It didn't feel good. It makes my whole body shake. It just boom, right? I've always spoken about your boundaries and how you've grown so well, and like how amazing yours are. I guess I still have a lot of refining to do with mine too. It's just like my internal guard of letting anyone get too close, because I hate losing people and I hate that pain. And you've broken it a lot, like reducing that boundary as well as upping some others. You know, it's been quite an interesting challenge and reflection.
Like from around that December, the way you become more aware of us, and also it makes it easier for me to be more vulnerable. It makes me like, it's more inviting for me too. You definitely opened more. I definitely feel that the wall's coming down more until just recent changes and stuff. Even saying the same things or doing the same things, it would be, oh, I'm so sorry, no, I did that, I'm so sorry. No, it's nothing to do with that. I want to talk about it, but it wasn't really it wasn't going further than...
No, because I just try to fix the issue.
Right, because it was, yeah. So definitely, I can see that your wall's definitely coming down. Because, and it helps, it helps me to be more vulnerable as well. Because you're actually allowing me in.
Yeah, and it's so crazy because you see it quite drastically. I barely notice it. Like, I can feel myself being more open with questions and not running. Like, even our arguments aren't really arguments anymore. It's just like a conversation, right? I notice those things, but not internally, like with my confidence or my thought process, right? But it just seems to be happening. Like, how do I put it? Like, it's like I'm in this weird space where things are changing, but I'm not quite coherent of those changes, right? Like, it's happening automatically. It does feel good, and I feel those tension coming out of me. Like, I have to apologize because my chest is so fucking tight right now, but it's just that affirmation from you. If it wasn't for that, I'm so bad at recognizing when I do good things. I'm so bad at acknowledging when I do good things. Like, I graduated at a degree and I was like, yeah, whatever. I got promotions. Yeah, okay. Got to do better. But like, when you get it from somebody else finally, like, I don't know, the difference between you saying it to me, like, I get people at work go, yeah, good work. That's just my job. When you say it, there's just got that genuineness to it, and I know it's not just trying to smoke.
Because there's that trust that you know I'm not doing it to...
my ass, right? Like, you just, boom, you're not trying to brown nose. And it's such a new sensation, right? Like, it's like, oh my God, I'm actually going to take this compliment. This day and age with social media, right, people don't put their full story in there, right? And I fall, like you can see, I've fallen susceptible to it, where you just see the end story, the end goal, right? And I'm reading this book about habits, and you start to understand it's the journey, right? And now when you just start to put that together, like, it's not the journey, the end result is that little win, yay, that's a little dopamine drop. But I never did that, right? And I do get into the journey, and I never recognized how much I do actually stress out and overwork myself, but like, I do enjoy it secretly. But like, that's the other thing, right? Coming back to this same point, I've never felt like it's okay for me to show that I'm enjoying something. And I guess that comes in with the last podcast we had too, where every time I showed something that I felt good about, it got taken away or got used against me, right? Or used profoundly against me, right? Which is like it's a big light bulb moment happening in my head, because that just shows how it all interacts, right? That's why if I have a win, I don't celebrate it.
You're afraid.
Yeah, like, even like celebrating my 30th birthday, where Mum actually got a birthday party together for me, and I had all my friends like Joey and Mark surprised. That was so profound for me. And even then I was like, yeah, they're all there, but I didn't really admit to anything. I didn't really show too much joy, but I fucking loved it. Everyone was there for me for the first time in my fucking life, right? Like, it was like, oh my God, this is great. And it's not their fault either, because I won't push that on. You know how subtle I am. I don't want to imply on anyone that they should be there for my birthday. Right? I'm not going to go and go, here's my birthday party, invite 1 million people, because I don't want to put that thing on. But then I never accept it if someone said no, right? Like it would be personal, not personal, but like, it'd be like, oh, okay. You
did take it personally because it made you feel like, okay, I'm not worthy enough.
Yeah, and
you think? I'm just asking.
I think so. I think it definitely had to do with my self-worth, and I think it also plays into why I don't really catch up with mates a lot too, because having too much fun, I still feel it. Like, I'll be joking around with the guys, and then it gets to a point, and then I start to go quiet. It's like, oh, are we getting out of hand, or am I having too much, or am I enjoying this too much, right?
You do that. Did I talk too much?
I take my enjoyment of it, because it's like, I shouldn't be enjoying. I shouldn't be feeling this.
Yeah, there's that switch at some point that it turns on.
Yeah, it's like my subconscious
then
just
it
goes,
changes.
why are you having this much fun?
Yeah, you do.
Like you later on, you see how much I love fucking driving. You bought me that driving a fucking race car event. Right, and I really do appreciate that. That was like one of the best gifts. And I don't think I acknowledged it enough, but I loved it. But the fucking same thing, the fun, the fear, the insecurity, the boom that came through, the pressure of performing well, right? That was nothing on you, that was all me. And I still felt horrible for it.
We never went.
And I still feel horrible for it because I didn't go and I just fucking ignored it, right?
Yeah.
All these things, like even this enjoying things, just makes so much sense now why it happened. And it was bad on you because you had no idea and you bought me one of the best things. Even though I didn't do it, I still, today, was like, that's fucking one of the best things ever.
I think it's because it was never talked about until I brought it up then.
Yeah,
Like,
and
I
I
think
didn't
that's the part
really
that
have a
actually-
good way of handling things, and I didn't understand what I understood now, right? And I felt horrible because I know you. I actually really did look at it and go, "Fuck this!" And yeah, that's good. The fear of performing well on the track, the fear of actually just letting loose and enjoying it, right? It's so crazy in me. Like even when it comes to just having fun, like it's just such a light bulb moment at the moment. How it all just plays. Like I don't feel comfortable enjoying things, and I need to. I need to fix that. I know I need to fix this. I'm aware of it now, which is good. But how much sense does it make? Like now that we're talking about it and it's coming out, I fucking have an issue with letting myself enjoy things.
Look back at your life, it's quite easy to see it.
Yeah, like I still remember being such a fun kid, right? Wasn't second guessing things, and then,
That's still very much in you, by the way. When you
I
fuck
know
around
that.
and stuff, I can definitely see that kitty, that, you know.
that loving kid, and then like
Yeah.
miserable situations, and I you know, I kept myself online in the sense of I didn't go down a dark path, and I still kept pushing forward, but then I lost a lot of the fun and a lot of the allowing myself to have fun or let people in. And
I think around the guilt and shame of what you were not and how you were, let's say, different to the majority of society that could do that made you feel that way.
I look back and I'm trying to remember things that I enjoy, and most of them are recently in the last 6 years with you, learning how to enjoy things. Like there's been profound moments where I enjoyed it, but I didn't let myself enjoy it, didn't realize it, like my 30th and things like that. But yeah, I really don't let myself enjoy things how I should. And I know I can be a dampener on people around me, and then therefore the shame rolls in, and therefore me being so aware of my surroundings. Like I am very sensitive to the people around me, and even though I try to show that I'm not. Like, you know me, I go into a room and I just already know the layout of the room, I know the layout of the people, I've already seen people's behaviours, I already feel like the people that I can approach and the people I want to stay clear of, right, whether it's right or wrong.
I think for a lot of people, it's easier to people please and become social, but it's not something that's in you. You can't just become social to do something that you're not. I think that could be why you suppressed yourself, just who you are, so much too.
Yeah, because if I went out and started socialising and then they wanted it their way, I was like, no. And then you see someone get upset, it's like, oh God, I'm here again.
Because it's like the way the other person makes you feel is often how you remember things, right?
Oh,
So
always,
you don't
like-
really look at the situation, it was like this, that's why this is what I did. It's more that when I did it, this person was upset, so I felt horrible, so that what happened, the whole thing was
Yeah,
horrible.
It's more how the other person felt than
Yeah.
actually going, oh, this is healthy for me, and I don't, not that I don't care, but it's like, they should understand, right? Like, it's always been, how do they feel?
I think oftentimes also when the situations happened, when you did things that you didn't want to do, it was made about them feeling the way they did. So those like the people did make you take responsibility of their emotions, of the way they were feeling. They were disappointed, they were upset, they were sad or whatever. They're entitled to have those feelings, that's fine. But I think the difference might be that that's what was used against to make your decision based off. And I think that's the part that could fuck somebody up. It would, wouldn't it?
Yeah, and it started happening really early, not even from my direct family. I'm sorry if I'm quiet. I'm just thinking about it all because like there's so much to see now, like see it in a different light.
Yeah, I can see you're processing.
It's definitely God has been persistent in my life. Like I can see why I push friends away now. I can see why I push loved ones away. Why people think I was a grump. See why I push myself into breakdowns, depression at work.
But all you have ever known is to suppress yourself because you really didn't have a space where you felt safe to.
Yeah, it's like what am I unsuppressing now? Like what am I opening up? Like I don't even know who that is. I really don't. I'm trying to get there and understand it, but it's a whole new turf. I still don't know where it's going to take me.
Are you enjoying the journey?
I am. It's definitely opening my eyes up. It is confronting. There's tension there every now and then. And then like there's also just the not knowing if you're interpreting it in the right way or you're dealing with it in the right way.
It's okay to express it the wrong way. I like when I say the wrong way like this because I know what you mean by the right way, the wrong way, right? It's okay to choke on your emotion a little and express it in the way that you will go, oh, I wish I handled it better. That's how you learn. And you're only just starting to express it, so it's going to be like that.
Yeah, I guess that also feeds into like itself, if you know what I mean. Like I'm learning how I can express myself, but the old ways are also telling me like when I do it in a different way, it's like, oh, you know, is that right? Like this is not the way you're doing it. So it's sort of like this circle.
Because you're in that transformation. There's that the attachment to the past, the way that you behaved based off the past and what you want to do now. There's that discrepancy, right? So it is confronting, it is uncomfortable because it is that you're stepping into a new territory. There's a lot of guilt and shame that comes with it too, and that tightness that you're feeling today. You've had this that was triggered on a busy day at work or whatever, right? But it's more profound that we're actually having to talk about this and you can actually understand the attachment to what these emotions and these pressures are coming from. So it's all overwhelming now because it's the muscle memory all, trying to catch up. It's like, yeah, fuck yeah, now it's making sense. Now it's time to fucking grieve because now you can connect the dot. So it will be a lot.
Light bulb moment, like bit of like, holy shit, and all these other things from the past sort of come into line. You're like, oh my fucking god, that the shit that doesn't make sense anymore. Oh my god, it's just clear as day, right? That whole my old habit of going, why me? And now I'm like, oh my god, I can see where that happened, why that
What
happened.
does that look like? Tell me, anything in the example that you're having a...
Just like not enjoying it as a kid or having it suppressed as a kid and how it plays into your confidence, but it also plays into the way you express yourself and accept yourself and embrace things that you do, right? Like it's all, I thought they were all segregated, right? Different reasons for this, different reasons for that. But then you see that the connection is something that you never even thought of in a million years. And they're all sort of intertwined with each other. That's why I said light bulb moment before. It's like, holy fuck, that plays on that, and then that plays on that, and then that plays on that. And it's so comprehensive that brain's thinking about it, and then starts thinking about the other things that happened. And then you have all these other random memories that you thought you'd forgotten about come into your head, and you're like...
flooding in all the things that didn't make sense is starting to all like click in.
Probably making me a little quiet at the moment because of how heavy the brain's thinking.
It's all good.
I want to enjoy things. I like enjoying things. I don't show it. I don't let myself enjoy it a lot, but I still get bits of enjoyment and it's like, oh yeah, that's good. I'm allowed to enjoy things.
What are the things you enjoy in the current life then? Like I know driving is one, but like what are the things?
Definitely one.
What are the...
Fucking with you is another.
Fucking with me. I took that the other way. I'm like, Papa.
That too, but like, like screwing with your mind and like playing games with you, that's always a fun.
Gaslighting.
I do enjoy my gaming, and now that I feel like I can because you're more accepting of it than in my previous relationships, and also because I had to learn that it wasn't a replacement for living, in a sense, or comfort. Actually, it was more comfort. Nowadays we still do a lot, we still game a lot, but we still do a lot, right? As where before it was just every bit of spare time.
Still never gone to salsa dance, but that's fine.
The salsa thing definitely sparked with last night for me, because that performing in front of other people, trying to do it right and all that kind of stuff, and feeling comfortable in that situation, I never do. Yeah, there has been a whole lot of nervousness around it.
Salsa? But you said you were looking forward to
I
it.
was excited to it, but there's also that part that, like, there's a few triggers I've got there, and I know I've got a few triggers, like lots of people, that's a big trigger for me. Performing in front of other people, that's another trigger for me.
I mean, we're not really performing,
Yeah,
let alone in front of anyone. They're too busy doing their own fucking
yeah,
things.
but you see,
Everyone's beginner.
That's what I mean. You see it that way, and that's probably the better way of seeing it.
When
But-
I'm doing something, even for example, like for driving, when I was a new driver, and when someone in the passenger seat's like, oh, look at that. There's no fucking way I'm turning left or right, my eyes. There's no way. It's only gonna stick to the road and that's it. Whereas now I can actually look around a little bit more. Where I'm going with this, if you go to a beginner class, no one is fucking checking anyone out on how other people are doing. I can barely keep up.
I understand the logic of it. The rest of the part of it is like who's gonna say what? Who's gonna say this? Oh my gosh! Rah 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 rah.
That also is like an example of the difference, I guess, like how I look at things, and which makes it easier for me to do it and get to it.
Yeah, and it's definitely not on the same level of me, you know, like we said, healthy level, unhealthy level. So it's definitely not like me trying to confront who I am in the sense of feeling peer pressured into doing it. This one with salsa, it's more just me being comfortable with myself to be able to do it and understand those things. Like, it's not like you're twisting my arm for it in a sense, or I'm going against my morals, because
it's more that it's out of your comfort zone.
Yeah. There is that every time we sort of mention it, it's like, yeah, and then, like, yeah, sweaty.
Do you want to do bachata then?
Fuck no. The face. The face.
Brazilian zouk? Remember?
I can see how a lot plays in with everything. I still don't think I'm just going to get over the performing in front of other people or that kind of stuff. Like, it's going to take me some time, and...
I mean, I'm not even interested in that anyways. I'm just interested in whether we're going out in a social event or whatever. I don't really care where that's gonna be. It's the fact that it's something that you and I can enjoy together. I really don't think about any other thing. That's why I'm going in for, and that's all I'm really in concern.
And I'm definitely becoming more free with social things. Like, I think starting to understand more of everything and the pressure of pleasing and all that kind of stuff. I still say that, but I'm still rubbing my hands like crazy. The social word gets me a bit... The way I perceive others and the way I expect others of perceiving me are two very different fucking animals.
But which is the truth?
Oh, I know it'd be the way that you perceive
because one thing that you can control and one thing that you know that you can go based off is what you know. Because you're never gonna know what other people are thinking, right?
Oh, and look, I'm just starting to get to the context where I can't expect others to think the same. I can't expect others to feel the same. Well, that concept's that was quite a new concept a couple of years ago, and that's come through. And it's just because of situation and probably ignorance, not that I've tried to purposely hide that. Right, but I can see the logic of it.
I think that's really what makes it easier for me to do things and get over things, because I do have things that embarrass me, definitely. I do have. I think it's just that it's different. Like, the degree of where I feel embarrassed is different.
Definitely would be, because I don't think I've ever seen you as being embarrassed.
But to me, what helped when I was younger, obviously, that would have got to me more than it does now. Because it's more that the more I dealt with it, my capacity grows. Yeah, what's helped me was, this happened in public. Fuck, I can't believe this happened. For example, let's say I dropped a tampon, for example. It could be something that's so embarrassing if that's something that you saw as intimate thing, right? I just look at it and go, if I'm that stranger walking past and seeing someone like that, it could be just something that I might talk to one or two people. This is what happened on the street, on the bus, but that really doesn't go anywhere. That person is never gonna know where I'm going with what I saw either. So because of that, it's like, so that's why I get over things quickly, because when I go there, it's like, Yeah, I had a light bulb moment there, because just like I thought,
just like you said, I can't expect anyone else to think the way that I do. The way that I perceive things is just the way I thought everyone perceives things, right? So trying to understand the way other people perceive things is very new to me, and it's only just started happening with you, right? Because you're saying, well, I didn't fucking think that. It's like, oh, really? Because I had this interpretation in my own mind of, they must be seeing it this way, because that's the way I see it.
We are, as a kid, we are self-centered. We see things as based off, it's because of us. my parents left me because of us. They got divorced because of me.
Yeah, but like to the level of what though? Because I don't think that ever changed for me, and I never understood.
I think that's what it is. You never understood, so you never changed.
Because
never learned that part to grow that part.
Because if everyone saw everyone else the way I perceive things, oh my god.
There are a lot of people out there who the life just really revolves around them, and I think it's very common in young age. I think it does come down to the matter of when you choose to see it and do something about it. That's gonna make changes. Because how many people was like, oh, why are you doing that to me?
Yeah, so I never put the way I perceived on others, but I just thought a certain way, and it was more so that I was thinking that that's the way they saw me, right? Like, that's the way they perceived it. Oh, he made a mistake here. Oh, he went here. Or does he know what he's doing? Kind of things. Yeah, I can see now that was playing hugely on it. Because that's why things would always go to the worst case scenario. Because I would always perceive things quite bad and not acknowledge the good things and not embrace.
And you're never gonna know, and it's none of your concern what others are thinking. It's none of your concern.
Yeah, I'm learning that. That was the opposite for most of my life.
People pleasing is so huge, isn't it?
The way I would terminology for myself is not people pleasing, but not trying to hurt the other person pleasing. For me, it wasn't like I didn't want to be the center of attention. I didn't want to please, but it was more so that I didn't want my behavior to impact somebody else in a negative way.
What I mean by people pleasing is choosing to go with what they want or what you think they want over what you want. That's what I mean by people pleasing.
For me, it was not really what they wanted. It was just making sure that they still liked me and I didn't hurt them in any way. And
isn't that it?
I don't know. Like, it seems like I guess it could just mind the way my brain interpret.
No, that's fine.
But,
that's fine. It doesn't seem to resonate with you then.
I never tried to just suit them or just please them.
True. Very true. Yeah, okay, I see why you're...
So
okay.
I never tried to just be, oh yeah, I'm going to do everything you want. Fuck no, you're not going to get that out of me.
Very true.
I'd be very sensitive to how my performance or me impacted them in a negative way or upset them or if they saw me in a bad light. Like seeing me as like, oh, this guy's useless, this guy's stupid, makes mistakes.
Do you think that triggers abandonment, feeling...
Oh, it's definitely down to the self-confidence and not accepting things and not feeling good enough. But that's the way I look at it, not pleasing everyone. You know that, like you see me, someone tries to please or brown nose, I'm like, fuck no, I'm not gonna suck up. I'll just do this for him. You get, no.
Yeah, you can't be that person.
Fuck off.
I fucking love it.
Alright.
Respect.
But like it even shows in the relationships. Oh god, here we go.
Yeah, there's no respect. You can do it. Oh, is it?
I don't know what it is, but I'm just like doing random hand things.
Yeah. Growing up in an environment where you didn't have a lot of control of and feeling powerless in those situations that you had no control over, do you think that kind of plays a part of not wanting to go in places where you don't have the control?
For a while there, I tried to control every situation, and then I realized that doesn't work well with other people. But there is definitely a lack of control, like feeling like I'm in control of myself, right? Or I don't need to control the situation, but like being able to control the way I manage me in that situation, or actually know that I have the confidence to deal with things when they occur, right?
You don't have the confidence if something happens that you don't agree with or whatever. Then what are you going to do? Because at times, like the lack of confidence in that, if you act on it, if you speak up, oftentimes it was something that you felt guilty afterwards or ashamed afterwards or embarrassed or whatever association you have, that what if it goes there, then I'm not confident with how I would handle it because, you know. And I wonder if that also plays. Yeah,
like I definitely say it would, because controlling, I never try to take control of anything. Like, and it's not like I want to control people, but like there are situations where I need to be in control of myself, even at a certain point, and it just doesn't feel that way, right?
Maybe because it's like at times where it was like that. It was you just being truthful to yourself, right? It's because something wasn't right by you. You didn't agree with it, but oftentimes it was made why you're acting out or why you gotta be like this back to you. And I think that could also play a bit part of lack of confidence in that kind of situation, because you never really felt like you've dealt with things confidently. Because when you did the way you felt, it was always perceived as, no, that's not the right way, kind of thing.
Yeah, it's probably like people keep giving me leadership roles and I don't even want to lead, like, because of, I still do it, and I do it, I've been told I do it well,
You do well,
but
naturally.
but I still feel like shit, like I'm taking control. Hell no, like I'm not good enough for that, like I can't take control of the situation. Ooh. Good to have a sense of humbling, but not to the level of where I take it. So there's never been a sense of control for me in that sense.
I think it's all
Yeah, it's all aligned with each other. I can see how it sort of branches from one into another, and confidence is a huge underlayer of that.
I can already see a lot of differences too, and like in a positive way in terms of your confidence. And I think it is naturally unfolding itself, like in every way, in your work environment, in our relationship, just the way you communicate in general, the way you express in general. I can see that you're becoming more and more confident.
My brain's just constantly ticking at the moment.
A lot to take in.
That's probably why I've gone a little bit more quiet, and there's a lot that makes sense now. It does alleviate a lot of shame because of the way I look at certain situations, especially with mates, right?
A lot of things come up because they all start to make sense.
Yeah, and just so many branches of it, like so many branches of it. Yeah, and I keep moving.
You've been moving a lot today, but that's fine.
Because of the topic,
because
restlessness.
Because there's a lot going on, and there's a lot to process.
Yeah.
I understand.
Typical me response, right, when I start to get into those situations. Hands start moving, they're shaky, you're sitting there doing something, you're like, baby, why are you rubbing your hands? Like,
Baba, what's on your mind? Nothing?
perfectly fine.
What are you talking about?
I don't know how well I'm going to function for the rest of the day, to be honest. I can feel my brain my head feels warm.